What's up YouTube, I'm Mike, and today we're going to do a chemistry lesson using the Trenbolone shirt. What we're talking about is 17-alpha alkylation. I started making a series of videos when I was on vacation going into some of the things that I felt like it was important for people to know before they get into steroids. I know for a lot of you this information is going to make the eyes roll in the back of your head and you're going to be like, I don't give a shit, I just want to get jacked. But for some of you, this information is valuable, and really for all of you, it's valuable. It's a good idea to have a basic understanding of these things. If for no other reason than you don't get screwed by a source or screwed over by a coach who's going to tell you that one drug is going to do something that's not going to do, or he's going to advise a ridiculous cycle, or he's going to give you something that's going to fuck you up in the long run. So I'm going to give you a Cliff's Notes version. Try to stick with me and see if this information is not useful to you in some way. So, 17-alpha alkylation is a process that steroid hormones undergo to make them orally bioavailable. What is 17-alpha alkylation? Really, it's C17-alpha alkylation, which means that there's an alkyl or ethyl group attached to the 17th carbon atom. So, on the Trenbolone shirt, right there, that point is the 17th carbon atom. The reason for this addition is that you've got this enzyme, I believe, 17-beta hydroxy steroid dehydrogenase. Yeah, that shit. That wants to come along and inactivate your hormone, which we don't want. We don't want to pop an anavar and have it just go right through the system and do nothing productive for us. So to prevent 17-beta hydroxy steroid dehydrogenase from oxidizing the hydroxy group off of the 17th carbon, this alkylation or these alkyl or ethyl groups are added. Got it? You still with me? Okay, so the purpose of this, again, is to make the drug orally bioavailable. So if you inject testosterone, for example, let's say test E, and you put it in your glute and you happen to hit a vein and you inject the oil into your bloodstream, despite probably making you cough, the body is going to rapidly process and inactivate the hormone. You're going to have, it's really going to be wasted. The reason that testosterone is attached to an ester is to make it time release. So you want to inject that into the muscle tissue. Your body's going to pull off the ester a little bit at a time and release the hormone into the bloodstream where it can be used. In the case of orals, what we want is for the liver to cleave off this alkyl or ethyl group a bit at a time to release the hormone, make it bioavailable. The problem with this is that it takes multiple passes through the liver in order for this to function. Every time the hormone passes the liver, it stresses the liver a little bit, and then you can cause your AST and ALT levels to rise. This is a sign of liver inflammation. Now, why does this matter to you? Because you could be on a cycle, for example, of anavar, and you could go to the doctor and the doctor could pull routine blood work and see that your ALT, AST levels are highly elevated, although probably not with anavar. Let's say you're doing D-vol and your liver levels are through the roof. The doctor's going to think there's something wrong with your liver. He may send you for a fucking biopsy. He may send you to a specialist that's going to be expensive and take a bunch of money to tell you that there's actually nothing wrong with your liver. The AST, ALT levels are not being elevated by some chronic disease that you have. But doc doesn't know that unless you told him that you're taking orally active hormones, in which case he probably still doesn't know what the fuck you're talking about. I had that experience personally. My doctor was getting ready to send me for a biopsy and I said, Doc, everything's cool, it's gonna go back to normal. He said, well, how do you know that? He said, well, because I'm taking 17-alpha alkylated compounds. What? Yes. So he ordered me to come back in 2 months. 2 months I come back. My liver levels are totally normal. This is why you need to understand how these compounds work. It's not good enough to just take a couple of pills because your coach or your buddy said, here, take this, you're going to blow up. You need to know how it's going to affect your body. One of the interesting things about this process is that 17-alpha alkylation can take a relatively benign hormone and make it extremely powerful. So, like one of my commenters mentioned, if you have drostanolone, which is Masteron, in its injectable form, it's relatively benign. If you add 17-alpha alkylation to it, now you get Superdraw, which is a very potent and also liver toxic hormone. One of the other things that I still haven't understood fully myself, maybe somebody can explain it in the comment section or link me to a video that does explain it. There's this idea that despite all of these hormones, Anavar, D-bol, Winstrol, Superdraw, all being 17-alpha alkylated, some of them reportedly are more liver toxic than others. So on the one hand, it's suggested that Anavar is not horribly liver toxic, but D-bol or Superdraw is. I don't know why that would be, but it's definitely something to keep in mind when you're trying to determine what compounds you're going to run and how long you're going to run them, which is the reason that I'm making these videos. I know they're not exciting. I know they can be very boring, but if you just dive in just a little bit and try to understand this information, then it will make it easier for you to get the most out of your cycles in the most conscientious, health-conscious way, so that you can keep doing what I think we all enjoy doing, blasting and cruising and watching our bodies morph in amazing ways. So, hopefully this has been informative. Hopefully you've stuck around to the end and you can use this information to better craft your own cycles and to vet people in the industry who are going to tell you what you need to do. I've got a couple of friends right now who are prepping for contests, and their coach has them on a fucking smorgasbord of oral compounds at high doses, and I am very concerned with their long-term health. That's something you need to realize. Oral compounds can cause a host of health problems. You can get liver tumors, you can get jaundice, you can get hepatitis. There's a number of things that can go tragically wrong with your liver and potentially can go wrong acutely, like in a relatively short period of time. If you abuse these hormones in your body, you happen to be genetically unlucky, there's any number of things that could come along where you could do serious damage to your liver, which could cause you at a minimum to have a liver biopsy or part of your liver removed to overcome these complications. So please, guys and gals who might be on Anavar, take this shit seriously. Understand how these compounds work so that we can all do this for as long as possible. As always, I hope this was informative. I hope it was entertaining, and we'll see you on the next one.